Hi there, meteorologist Ed Valley here, taking a look at the ag report and long range here today. And we have our rain moving through the plains and western Midwest here today. And this is going to be a slow progression, very slow through the Midwest today and into the Ohio Valley here for Thursday and Friday as this thing slowly meanders through. So far, we've seen anywhere from a tenth to as much as 1 inch of rain, highest amounts down in parts of Kansas. But the dry areas of winter wheatland still not seeing a lot of moisture with this in western Kansas or the panhandles. But still quite a bit of moisture up where really they don't want it, where harvest is trying to get completed here in Nebraska and up into the Dakotas and even parts of the western Midwest, like we said. And the last 30 days or so have been wet, and this does not even include what fell last 12 to 24 hours. This only goes through yesterday morning. And you notice it's been a wet 30 days, no doubt about it. Two events, kind of one up in the Northwest Belt and then the other one down in parts of Kentucky, or, Ohio and Illinois and Indiana and Iowa. And really the only dry spots have been parts of the plains that are seeing rain today and then parts of the eastern upper Midwest. And most of us are going to see rainfall here as we move forward. So let's go through this. We'll talk about the week ahead and kind of talk about what we're going to be seeing here. A cool down is coming as well, a significant one at that. So that's an important distinction we got to talk about. So today the rain is in the western Midwest and plains, mainly in the west of I-35 area. Tonight that moves through the remainder of Iowa and Minnesota. The only area that really doesn't see much is southeast Minnesota and parts of Wisconsin. The heaviest, I think, goes south. See this big area low pressure on the Arkansas-Missouri border? It's going to slowly meander towards Cape Girardeau by Thursday evening and then really towards Louisville by Friday morning. And you notice the rain's still east of I-35 for Friday morning, and it's a slow improvement across Iowa Friday. Notice the plains are in pretty good shape Friday as this thing slowly moves away. We may even see a few showers linger Saturday morning in the eastern Ohio Valley. Total rain. Let's talk about that. Here's a look. It's 1 to 3 inches for a lot of the Midwest here in eastern plains. It's a half to an inch and a half, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. It's southern Wisconsin. But you notice the area that may miss, eastern Minnesota here. Maybe a tenth to a half an inch up here. So it's a pretty solid rainfall amount. And just to show you here what the European model is showing, it's similar. 1 to 3 inches, western Midwest, eastern plains. And then that local minimum in eastern Iowa up into parts of Wisconsin. So that's what we're looking like here through the end of the week. And again, Friday into the weekend, much better. Plains Midwest, but still we're going to struggle Friday and even part of Saturday east with some of that rainfall lingering. Now, next week is even more interesting because we're going to throw a cold front in here. And that's not only going to bring a renewed risk for light precipitation in the southeast belt early next week, it's going to bring a lot of cold air. Okay, so by Monday morning, that cold air is moving into the upper Midwest and plains. A couple rain or snow showers, Kansas, Nebraska. And into Monday, you notice just a few stray sprinkles, but not a huge deal. But as we head later in the week, there's going to be a disturbance somewhere along the I-70 corridor that rides the southern periphery of this cold air. And that could lead to some rain and maybe even mix with some snow here in Kansas, Missouri, southern portions of the Ohio Valley. We'll see how far north it gets. Still a little bit early, but the time frame on this is Tuesday night and Wednesday. And you see this follow-up disturbance that this European model is trying to do. We'll see how that goes. Still a lot of uncertainty there. But you can see the area of concern on this run is I-70 southward, right? Now, when you look at the GFS model here, what do we see? Well, we see a completely different forecast, right? Nothing with that secondary system. So a lot of uncertainty still remains, but it is pretty clear that it is going to get much cooler next week, and you're going to see this area of cold weather kind of peak midweek next week. We'll see about that precipitation risk. Right now, I do lean drier than what the European is trying to show here. That would be an extreme solution. Would be very beneficial for winter wheat, but this is an extreme solution that we can't necessarily buy into quite yet. So let's look at these temperatures because it is going to be a much cooler air mass next week. So For Wednesday today, it's 40s, 50s, 60s, pretty normal weather for this time of the year. As we look at some of our other information here, as we head towards the end of the week, Thursday's chilly, Friday's chilly, Saturday's seasonable. Watch Sunday. Cold air coming in, as we said, 40s showing up Sunday north. And then that moves southward for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday are likely the peak cold days of this pattern. Upper 30s to middle 40s north, middle 40s to middle 50s south, and low temperatures, as you can imagine. Hard freeze along and north of I-70, a frost pretty far south as well. So some pretty cold temperatures here with lows even right through the first week of the month, well below freezing. Not out of the normal for this time of the year, but something that's certainly a change from what we've been seeing. So as we move onward, you'll notice there's that peak of cold air. Notice the Europeans a little bit deeper with that cold air. Euro, GFS, you see that. Regardless of a pretty impressive cold shot. But notice by day 10, again, the Euro's a little slower getting rid of this colder air, but you notice by day 15, even the Euro has flip-flopped this pattern back, right? So cooler west, warmer east, the GFS, a little bit more uncertain in that regard, but you see that the Canadian kind of doing that as well, bringing that cold back into the west and into the plains. So all in all, it is a colder period coming up over the next week. And you can see some of these numbers in the 5 to 10 day period here. Pretty chilly on the Canadian, pretty chilly on the GFS, and on the European, anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees below normal. But notice by the 10 to 15 day, we're bringing warmer conditions back into the plains, and that's pretty unanimous on all of our data. So the other thing to mention here, precipitation risk in the 8 to 14 day period. Euro, drier. GFS, a little bit wetter, but still no extreme wet conditions. That's good news if you want to get back out in those fields to finish harvest. So not a lot of extreme wetness in the 8 to 14 day, but again, through this weekend, we are going to be battling some of that moisture. Now, last thing, MJO, phase 1 may be going into phase 2. Well, phase 1 certainly leans cold, and it also leans dry. That's what we're going to be seeing here in the first week of November. But if we get into phase 2, it's still on the cooler side, but notice the wetness may return a little bit. We'll see how that kind of goes as we press into the middle of November. So that's where we are for today. A reminder, we are putting out our new December, January, February PDF today, a comprehensive PDF on the winter. That will be issued sometime closer to midday. We're just tweaking a few final things. We'll get that out to you. And then Friday, our video will be centered around the winter forecast. So that's what we have for you today. Have a great Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow with another video.